Hello and welcome back to another short video. Moving on now from the previous one where we looked at breathing, this is a slow flow. So it is a movement based session. It's about 10-12 minutes. Nothing too dramatic. It's going to be the perfect thing to do at any point in a day when you just feel like you need to move a little bit and just stretch a little bit. You could do it first thing in the morning, you could do it as a little break from work if you're at the desk, or perhaps a way of winding down at the end of the day. In terms of equipment, you will need, I would suggest, a strap. So I've got a strap, yoga strap. Of course, if you don't have one of these, then there is no problem. You can just get either one of those stretchy resistance bands that you may have. If you don't have one of those, get a long scarf that you don't mind popping over your foot for a stretch at the end of the session. And then that's pretty much it. There's a couple of optional things I would suggest. So if you do have sensitive knees, you could get a blanket and place it under the knees at any point where the knees feel a little bit of discomfort. And then I have my bolster because it's pretty relaxing to use for the end of class. If you don't have one, again, this is completely optional. You could use some cushions, and even the cushions are optional. The only thing I would suggest is some form of strap if you can find one. We're going to start off getting into movement straight away. So when you're ready, we'll come over to our all fours position. Once you're in your all fours, you place your hands underneath your shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. And then when you're ready, we take a nice big inhale, we look forward, slightly lift the tailbone up. And then as you exhale, I want you to start right from the bottom of your spine. Gently start to curl it under. You may feel a little bit of a lift in the belly. And then working all the way up the spine until you find this cat stretch, nice big arch in the upper back. And then we come all the way through again. And just keep that going, nice and even. Starting to mobilize the spine. You can really start to work the breath here. So when you inhale, it's when the gaze lifts, and then when you exhale, you take it into that cat stretch, breathing into the area between the shoulder blades. And after a few really slow ones, you can make it a little bit more fluid, maybe pick up the pace, but don't sacrifice the breath. So keep the breath going as you're doing that. All right, we're going to take our way into child's pose from here. So toes together, knees apart, and then just take your forehead down to the floor in front of you if it can reach. If for any reason that it feels uncomfortable, you could always place that blanket underneath the forehead. Reach the hands forward, nice steady breaths. And then start to work the hands now towards the right side of your mat. So both hands are going towards a 2 o'clock position. My left hand is on top of my right hand. And I'm going to lower the left armpit down towards the floor. So you feel a bit more of a stretch on the outside of that left part of your body. Breathing in here. And breathing out. And then start to calm around to center and take it to the other side. So the hand's now going to a 10 o'clock position. My right hand going on top of the left hand, and it's my right armpit this time that lowers down to the floor. Finding that nice stretch through the right side of the body. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then coming back to center, tucking the toes, and let's come into our first downward dog of the class. So when you're ready, hands on the floor, tuck the toes, lift the hips up nice and high. Yeah. Now for the first downward dog, it may feel a little stiff perhaps. Keep a nice soft bend in the knees. Even if you're super bendy, keep a little soft bend in the knees. And you can pedal the feet out, give the head a bit of a shake. Nice and gentle here. And then slowly let's drop the knees back down to the floor and take it back to a child's pose. So first one may feel great. The first downward dog may feel a little stiff depending on what you've been up to. If you've done an exercise class beforehand, you've just got up in the morning. Now on your next inhale, we walk the hands towards the knees and come up to a kneeling position. I'm going to turn to the camera for this section, but you don't have to turn. Coming to this kneeling position, I'm going to take a big inhale and swoop the arms up to the ceiling, big stretch. And then exhale, release the hands back down. Good. We'll take 2 more. Big inhale, reach the arms up to the ceiling. And then exhale all the way down. Final one. Big inhale. And exhale. This time the hands come behind you. You can see I'm going to interlace my fingertips behind my back and then take the fist away from the body. You lift the chest up here. Good. Find a nice stretch across the front of the body, shoulder blades squeezing together. And then we take the fist towards the right side of the body. So it's going to hook on top of my right hip. Little fist is balancing on top of that hip. And I'm going to turn my ear towards my right shoulder, getting a stretch through the side of the neck, taking 2 more breaths here. And then very gently coming up, so you don't want to overstrain the neck. And then just take the fist to the other side, so it kind of hooks and sits on top of your left hip. And then you take the left ear towards the left shoulder. Again, no need to overstrain here, just be super gentle with the neck. And then come all the way back up nice and slowly, nice and gently. Bring the hands back to center, reach the hands up behind you one final time, and then release the fingertips. Big circle of the shoulders. Nice work. And we're going to come back to our all fours position. So making your way back to your all fours, and then tucking the toes, let's come back to a downward dog. See how that feels now, second downward dog of the session. Now, if you are finding that you are a little bit bendier, perhaps maybe a little bit more space now in the backs of the legs, you might want to start to straighten the legs. But by no means do you have to have those heels flat on the floor. In fact, just keep a little bit of space underneath the heels. Spread the fingertips, really feel as though you're pressing the floor away from you. And then bring your attention back to each inhale and each exhale. Inhale and exhale. And we'll slowly drop back down to our knees again, coming back to our all fours position. We're going to take ourselves into a lunge sequence now. So the right foot will take a big step forward. And if you want to, the back knee can have a little cushion or a blanket underneath it if it feels a little twingy. On your inhale, let's reach the arms up to the ceiling, finding this crescent lunge. And then as you exhale, release the hands by your side. Let's interlace the fingertips again behind the back. So just as we did earlier, take the fist away from the body, find a little broadness across the front of the chest. Take 1 more breath here. And then as you release, the left hand goes down to the floor on the inside of that front foot. Right hand will peel chest towards bent leg, reaching the arm up to the ceiling. Now options here, you could tuck the back toes and lift the knee. Keep that back thigh super strong. If that feels too much today, you just drop down the knee. See which one works for you. So adding a little bit of movement here. As you exhale, this hand comes all the way down to the floor. And then inhale, find that rotation through the spine. Reach the arm up to the ceiling. And then all the way down to the floor. We're going to do this 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Final one. And an exhale. Nice work. Drop the back knee if it was lifted and take the knee back to your all fours. Reset in all fours. Spread those fingertips. And let's take it to the other side. So now it's the left leg that takes a big step forward for our low lunge sequence. Take a nice big inhale. Let's swoop the arms up to the ceiling. We're in our crescent lunge. As you exhale, release the hands, interlace the fingertips behind your back. Take the fist away from the body as we lift and broaden across the chest, taking 2 more breaths. So breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Good. Let's release the fingertips. And the right hand now comes to the inside of that front foot. Left hand will open and kind of peel the chest towards that bent leg. Arm reaches to the ceiling. Now if you want, again, you can lift the back knee. It could always stay on the floor if that feels more comfortable. Now adding that movement, as we exhale, the hand comes down to the floor. And then as we inhale, find that rotation. And then exhale to the floor. Inhale, find that rotation. We've just got 2 more. Take a nice big Inhale, hand comes down, finding that rotation. And final one. And then lower the hand down to the floor. Lower the back knee, take yourself back to your all fours position. And let's either go to child's pose, so toes together, knees apart, reach the hands forward. Or if you want to, final downward dog with this little sequence, tuck the toes, press the hands into the floor, lift the hips. Maybe the legs now are a lot straighter, maybe there's still a little bend in the knees. Press the floor away with the hands, spread the fingertips. Then let's take 2 more deep breaths here, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Slowly drop the knees. If you are in downward dog, we'll join those of you that were in child's pose, reach the fingertips forward, forehead resting on the floor. Letting everything feel nice and settled. And slowly walk the fingertips towards you so you come to kneel at the back of the mat. And we're going to come to lie on our backs now. So shimmying yourself around, take the legs out in front of you. And as we go to lie on the floor, make sure that that strap is handy. And then once we're lying down, let's take the left leg long and the right leg to the ceiling. Hook your strap or your scarf, whatever you've got handy, over the foot. And then you just start to draw that leg towards you. You don't need to tug or pull. I'm just going to rearrange myself on my mat. And drawing it towards you, breathing into the back of that leg. Oh, nice and steady with the breath. We're going to target the outside of our right hip now. So first of all, keep that foot flexed, and then to start to take the leg across the body. Don't take it too far. You're just going as far as you can, but keeping both bum cheeks on the floor and the hips level. So if you put your hand on your right hip, it doesn't lift up and lower back is still firmly on the floor. We're taking 2 more deep breaths here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Good. Then bring it back to centre. We're going to adapt that stretch slightly and change the load on that stretch. So your right foot now will turn out. So by that I mean the toes turn towards the right edge of the mat, and you can feel that your thigh is externally rotating. So the thigh is going towards the long edge of the mat. So if your foot turned out, it then goes across the body again. And you can't quite go quite as far. I feel it a little bit more intensely with the foot turned out. And we take 3 more breaths here, breathing in. And breathing out. And then return the foot to centre. Release the strap, bring the knee into your chest, and just give it a nice little well done, a little squeeze up towards the armpit. And then we take it to the other side. So that leg can extend in front of you. And then the left knee comes up towards the ceiling. We're going to hook our foot with our strap again, or the blanket, not blanket, you won't use a blanket, a scarf or whatever you've got handy. Foot is flexed, so toes towards shins, and we just gently draw that leg towards you. And then don't worry if you really notice that one leg is tighter than the other. My left leg feels so much stiffer, which is frustrating sometimes. And just draw that leg towards you, finding that breath. Final breath. And then we're going to take it across the body. So it's going across towards the right side of the mat. Maybe even put your hand on your left hip so that hip doesn't move. And that's going to limit how far the leg can go. So don't let it flop to the side. It's just a little movement. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then come back to center, and we're going to change the load of that stretch. So what I mean by that is that we're going to turn the foot out, so changing the position of the foot. We're going to turn the foot out, and that will also mean that our thigh externally rotates towards the left side of the mat. And then we take the leg across. So the foot and the thigh are in a slightly different position, but we're going across the mat. And again, you might feel it more intensely, or it might be not as intense, just noticing how it differs, how it feels compared to the other side, to the different positions of the feet. And then slowly come back to center. Well done. All right, release the strap. Give that knee a little squeeze. Well done. Squeezing up towards the armpit. And then bring the other knee to join it. Big squeeze, squeezing up nice and tight. And let's let both knees fall towards the right side of the mat. Both knees falling towards the right side. Let the knees completely fall on the floor. And then take your left leg, left arm rather, out towards the opposite side of the mat. And we'll take 2 deep breaths here, breathing in. And breathing out. And then as you inhale, bring the knees back to center. Give yourself another little well done, a little squeeze, and let the knees fall to the other side. As you do these supine twists, you might want to shimmy your hips towards the right side of the mat as the left knees go towards the left. The knees go to the left side or rather. Right hand extends to the side, and then finding that supine twist. Breathing in. Breathing out. Right hand extending away from the knees. Coming back to center, bring the knees back to center. Give yourself one final well done. Squeezing tight and then releasing the legs. And then we get ready for a very short little rest. Shavasana. We want to either lie flat with the legs extended, or if you've got that bolster or some cushions, I'm going to maneuver with my feet, you could place the bolster underneath your knees or a cushion underneath the knees, particularly if there's any sensitivity in the lower back. Otherwise, you could just lie flat, whatever works for you. Close the eyes, let the palms face the ceiling. And let everything drop. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here. If you want to, you can stay here as long as you like. I'm going to just stay for a few breaths and then bring you to a close. But obviously, if you want to take a longer rest, just turn the video off, put some music on and stay resting for a bit longer. I'm going to suggest we end here. Very slowly bring your awareness back to your body. Take maybe a little wiggle of the fingers, a turn of the head from side to side, maybe a big stretch of the arms above the head. And then rolling onto one side. And gently pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. We'll end the class cross-legged. And your hands can just rest in your lap. Let the eyes shut, or if you prefer, just keep a soft gaze, look to the floor. Soften down through the shoulders, soften the face. We'll take a big inhale together. And a sigh. And you are done. Thank you so much for joining me for this short, slow flow. Any questions, feedback, do get in touch. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.